Namaste viewers. Do you know that Upanishads are filled with many interesting stories and incidents which are probably shared to help us develop deeper insights about life and spirituality? Today, let us request Dr. Nagendra sir to share some such uplifting incidents or stories. So let's welcome him first. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Sir, your wisdom has been inspiring thousands of our viewers. So my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of our viewers, first of all. And today we will assign a task of telling us a beautiful story. We know that you've been studying and practicing Veda and Upanishads for many years. So is there something that you would like to share to our viewers, not just from the context of understanding the story, but getting into the depth of why there are so many stories and incidences that has been filled in the Upanishad? Or even if we take some scripts like Ashtavakra Gita or anything like that, there are so many subdivisions there and story over story, story inside story. What is the real essence behind this, and how do we interpret these incidences and stories? Because some of them, due to the time gap, they may not sound very similar to what we are going through as an experience at this timeline. So please guide us, sir. Yes.
Definitely. Namaste. Thank you. And this is one of the, I would say, most relevant question for today.
Yes.
And also very relevant for the channel through which we are actually conveying this message of the knowledge.
Okay.
The very essence of this Upanishad, we'll see what it is. But the very word Samvada is also from Upanishad.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Right.
Vada, what we call today is argument. To
Right.
prove my point and then prove that I am correct. And that is an exchange of foolishness. Whereas the Vada during the Upanishadic period is not the Vedic period, the
Okay.
Upanishad.
Yeah.
Upanishad period, Vada is, it is the expression of my experience. I express out.
Wow.
It comes out. And then I share with you. Then you would have had your experience. Then you share with me. Then that becomes Samyaka Vada.
Right.
The experience
Wow.
sharing is the Vada. I express it. I'm not trying to prove that I'm right or you are wrong. Today the whole idea of debate or Vada is gone. I'm very happy what we are in the channel as a
Right.
Samvada named after that is
Yes.
it's an Upanishadic term where it says the knowledge sharing through the experience.
Wow.
It's an individual experience.
Right.
So that is the essence of Upanishad. When we say there is an Avada or Samvada, then definitely there should be a question and answer or there is dialect.
Correct.
Just for the benefit of those who are not very familiar with the Vedic chronology, in the Veda we have the what we call Vedic period as Samhita Bhaga, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad.
Right.
Samhita is the mantra, the direct revelation, what we call a Paurushaya, all the mantras like Gayatri mantra, Agni mantra or Purusha Sukta, all these are part of the mantras aspect of the Samhita Bhaga. And then there is an aspect of the ritual that needs to be done, explained in the Brahmana. Like which yagna when you are doing, what is the aspect of the mantra you need to utter and what is the kind of arrangement you need to, that's all different. So there are 4 Vedas, each Veda has called Samhita, like Rig Veda has called its Samhita, and then it's Brahmana. Then Aranyaka is generally we say that is practiced during the forest, Aranya. Not necessarily in the forest,
Okay.
in that idea of retirement, kind of a relaxed
Yes.
and then more in that of it, not as a binding one. The last part of any Veda becomes Upanishad or we call it as Vedanta. If we understand this, then we know why there are so many stories.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Now there is a peak of knowledge in the Samhita Bhaga and there is a physical Adi Yagnika or the karma part of it or what we need to perform as a Brahmana and then experiencing that as an Ananda, Aranya. That is also Ananda aspect of it.
Okay.
Then the peak of knowledge is Upanishad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is Vedanta. Veda is the knowledge.
Correct.
Anta is one is the end, towards the end, or it is the Anta is the inner essence of it. Anta, Antaha, inside, or it is the core aspect of Veda as a Vedanta. Now the
Okay.
term Upanishad also, Upa means actually it's not near. They call it as near also Upa. Whereas the actual meaning Upa is higher, just like up in English.
Okay.
Upa is taking you to the higher level. Nishad is being there or sitting there. Upanishad is, similarly we have Upakarma or
Yes.
Upanayana. All these are going in line with that Upa, which takes you, elevates you to the next level.
Right.
Now, these people during that Upanishadic period, they've gone through that Apaurusheya Vidya,
Yeah.
and then they know all the rituals, and they had that beauty of being with the nature and experiencing it. Now, what next? Now, they say, this is my essence of enjoying it. I experience something, and then I come to another Jnani, and then say, this is what I experienced during this mantra. What is your experience? And then sometimes when you are going through that spiritual path, you will have some questions. Then you go in search of another Rishi who is better than you,
Yeah.
then sit with him, and then that dialect, all these have been compiled as Upanishad.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you know this, then you know why there is inbuilt stories. These are not actually stories.
Okay.
This is a real time that's happening,
Yeah.
and they were enjoying it.
Correct.
Today, when you look at, we see these are stories.
Okay, so if you can just randomly pick up some incidents or some
Yeah.
story that has probably influenced you or something that's coming up randomly in your mind to our viewers, that would be great. And also the deeper insight of how we have to understand that in real.
Yes.
Yes.
This being a general discussion, I would like to try to avoid the Upanishad name or the Rishi name.
Sure.
Because sometimes the minds try to just say, that, oh, okay, it's too much. There are too many terminologies and too many things
Correct.
which I cannot take it. So, just to avoid this,
Yes.
I am trying to take it as in today's context what it is.
Sure.
Whereas the story is the same. The words I use is in today's something like in English or what
Sure.
it is more relevant.
Sure.
Like we can say one of the Upanishad, which is very, very relevant today, is there is a Jnani or the Rishi, he is also a father who himself is a very good scholar. Now his son, now when he is up to 7 years of age, the father and mother, they actually teach them. And then they send them to Gurukula.
Right.
By the 7 years, it's not, unlike the school where we are sending today, they are not blank. By 7 years, they will know their basic language, Samskrita, the grammar, all these are done
Oh, is it?
by 7 years.
Okay.
Because it's not that they ask them to read this.
Right.
The environment within the house is such a way that it comes naturally
Wow. Okay.
to them. So all these, whatever the basic things that needs to be done by 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
Now from here onwards, it is graduation. They start graduating. Then there is an Upanayana Samskara. Upanayana. Nayana is I,
Yeah.
or Nayana is Nayati, to walk. Upa is to the higher level. Now you are going towards, there is like something like a thread ceremony symbolically done today. Why it is done, nobody knows. That becomes a ritual.
Yeah.
Whereas now they do the Upanayana 7 or 8 years, and then they say that now whatever that needs to be done within the house, the Grihastha Dharma, that is done. Now you go to the essence of this Vidya,
Okay.
the Veda itself. Okay. So now what they will do is, that's bound by a thread. Like there are 3 threads. You say that you are bound by. Now you put that intent and sankalpa that I will go through this process of education with all the love and then the enjoyment, not as something like a punishment or something that after going to the college, then what the purpose of education is making money. There's nothing wrong in making. That should not be the purpose.
The only goal sort of.
Yeah, the purpose here in to going to the Gurukula is there is a same thing like a Upanishad. Now it becomes Upanayana. Then in this context, I'll also mention there is Upakarma. Every year they used to change the thread. Why they used to do is because the Upakarma is the karma what you are doing. Now if you have to take it to the higher level, you have to take out all those which you already know, unlearn.
Oh.
Completely take it out, including your sacred thread.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now you forget whatever you studied last 1 year.
Okay.
I'll again put you another new thread. Same text.
Wow.
Same Agni Mile Purohitam. This is Upakarma. Now you elevate yourself.
Wow.
This used to be the core. Now what we do after first standard, you go to second standard. Here we forget everything, but we don't improvise. That's the only difference. If you ask now, we have the 10th standard results. Everybody will be topper, 625 out of 625.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks, you ask them the question.
Blank.
Blank. That's good. But for a purpose of the higher knowledge, we don't know that.
Correct.
During the Upanishadic period, that was the essence of it. All these are symbolic.
Yes.
Coming back to the story form, now when they go to the Gurukula, there is an experience of that. In this context, which is very relevant, I thought very important for parents and students as well is, in I was mentioning about one such Jnani, where his son, he goes to Gurukula.
Right.
That is, you can take it as any university. He goes there. He is extraordinary, topper.
Okay.
He finishes, and then in the whatever the studies he was going through in the Gurukula, he achieved everything. Then he comes back home. Or maybe after say 14 or 16, whatever the years. In today's context, after your graduation or you become a doctor or something, you go to a residential university and you come back home. Remember, his father is the first guru, then he is also a great scholar. Okay. So he comes home, and then father, till that time, from that 7th year to going to the Gurukula, till he returns, no connection with the
Parents.
family. You cannot go weekend and then give them the homemade food or summer vacation, nothing. No distraction altogether. Because the whole purpose of human life is to attain knowledge. You spend your 7 years of that is brahmacharya. Brahma is that ultimate knowledge, charya is acharana. So you are doing that during that period. Nothing, and it's not related to celibacy.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
So now by 14 years they are more mature, depending on whether the capacity they want higher education or they want to come out and their household, then be a grahastha, that's left to them. During that time it was no discrimination between a girl or a boy. During the Upanishadic period.
Okay.
Okay. Then they had an option for a women, they had an option.
Okay.
They can opt either they continue as a brahmacharini, that I'll continue in the path of knowledge, or I'll take the role of a grahastha dharma and then have a beautiful child and contribute to the society through giving a very responsible citizen.
Yeah.
Both are equally important.
Yes.
Whereas men did not have an option. They have to go through this knowledge program only.
Okay.
What today has become a restriction,
Yeah.
during the Upanishad period, that was a privilege for a woman.
Right.
Okay,
Beautiful.
that's the highest level what our Sanatana Dharma and Bharata had.
Wow.
So this person who is a topper comes back home. He comes home, at the door, you look at the father, the first thought he gets is, now I am more educated than my father. The father never went to a university or the Gurukula.
Okay.
He is a self-learned man. That was also an option because he is extraordinary.
Okay.
Now he thinks, should I bow down to him or not?
Oh.
Now I have become a doctor, I'm an engineer, chartered
Correct.
accountant.
Correct.
My father is something like a farmer or whoever it is.
Primary school.
A teacher maybe, doing his routine. Now should I bow down? This is what happened with the knowledge to him. You see, this is the story.
Right.
Now
Sir.
he brings that, and then the father, because he has learned through experience,
Correct.
he looks at the eyes of the son, he knows, okay, now there is a problem. There's
Wow.
an ego because of knowledge.
Correct.
What was supposed to go out of because of knowledge, he gained ego because of his knowledge.
True.
Typical of today's, it is more relevant today.
Correct.
But it was happening during Upanishadic period.
Right.
See that we are not doing anything new.
Correct.
Not even a mistake.
True.
Now as a parent, what
Yes,
he does,
yes.
then he welcomes. And then he asks a question. Have you learned something? Once you learn that, you don't have to learn anything else. The first
Father
question he
asks
asks,
the son.
Father asks the son.
Okay.
The son is actually confused. Is there anything? You ask anybody, you go out and then ask. You know something, if you know that, you know everything. You don't have to read anything. And immediately answer, is it really something as that? No.
Yeah.
If I know that, don't have to study maths, don't have to physics,
Yes.
chemistry, do I know everything?
No, I don't
Not
think
at
so.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same thing, he was confused. He said, first he says, but his ego is so high.
Oh.
He said that, then if his father is asking, there must be something.
Something. Yeah.
Then the answer is, he doesn't say no. He says, no, it was not taught in my university.
Oh.
It was out of syllabus. Nobody taught me, so I don't know.
Yes.
If they had, this is the answer he gives.
Yes.
If they had taught me,
Yes.
then I would have been first in that also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So then he welcomes and then he understands that now it is time to teach him.
Yes.
Then he gradually, one by one, there is a story goes on.
Okay.
He explains him what is that Brahma Tattva,
Okay.
what is that we are talking to. It is not the knowledge what we are doing outside. It's not about physics, chemistry or anything, but the essence of that knowledge.
Yes.
He explains that because he was also a great student.
Yes.
But only because of ego he had that issue.
Right.
He doesn't. So he understands that and then he respects that, okay, my father knows better and then But that's not the end.
Okay.
Now he has, now because he's a scholar and he also thinks that he knows more now
Right.
with his father,
Yes.
then he wants to go to different places, to the Rajasthana,
Okay.
where the kings used to, they used to have such a
Scholars.
Samvadas. Okay,
Yeah.
being there, and then you can showcase. At that time, the highest respect was somebody who was a scholar or the jnan.
True.
Nothing to do with the money or how much you
Yeah.
spend, and no social status.
right,
Any
right.
jnani, irrespective of his social status, he is giving the highest
Yeah.
respect. He goes to one such Rajya Sabha, the same person. Ego is not completely gone. He wants to show off that he knows everything, and then
Right.
he wants to defeat others in the Vada. He goes there, and then during that period, that Raja was somebody of the highest one. We know somebody like Janaka, or these are the ones highest level of knowledge, even
Yeah,
though they were
yeah.
Kshatriyas.
Yeah.
And also very important to mention that this knowledge was not only for such a community or a sect. It's not only Brahmanas had it or anybody. It was open for all.
All,
Anybody
yeah.
can get it.
Yeah.
That Kshatriya, he had all the Brahma Vidya and beyond that.
Okay.
Then he welcomes. The moment he comes, looking at the face, he makes out that this child is a good child but needs to be taught a lesson.
Okay.
Unlike father, his way of looking at is,
Correct.
he asks a question, it's almost like embarrassing him.
Okay.
He asks a question, do you know such a thing where after death, there's a different context altogether. We'll not get into the context of the question.
Fine.
We'll see about how elderly person will interact with the person. Is a good student,
Yeah.
but slightly off track.
Correct.
Bring him to the track, right track. So that's how the storyline goes on.
Right.
So now he asks a question. So do you know such procedure or something where what will happen to that jiva after death, and what is the kind of rituals you need to do to get it done?
Okay.
He had no clue about the question at all.
Okay.
Forget about the answer.
Right.
Now again the ego is hurt. After all the things what he learned in the
Learned
Gurukula
from the father.
and
yes.
the father himself, including the Brahma Vidya,
Right.
there are something even more
Yeah.
to learn. And then he directly puts a question. Then he doesn't stop with that. Okay, you don't know this. I'll ask you one more question.
Okay.
He puts another question. Now he gets into this. Okay, now I don't know this. And he doesn't stop. He puts third question.
Okay.
You answer any one of this. Direct challenge.
Right.
So now everybody is around.
Okay.
He's totally embarrassed.
Yes.
Now he says, okay, he will say that I'll go now. He'll no apology or anything.
Oh.
Now what he thought, it didn't happen, and he comes back home. Then he tells his father, see what kind of question he's asking. The same answer.
Yeah.
Never taught in my school or anything.
Right.
So do you know that? Now the parent, the fathers,
Okay.
it's action for the father. He says, my child, even I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, I have not heard. This is specifically, this knowledge is meant for Kshatriyas.
Correct.
You know, there is an aspect where only Kshatriyas will know. Then both of us, let us go there, then learn from him.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'll become a student, you will become a student, let us go back together and then learn from him.
Nice.
This is how the father looks at. The son says, no, I cannot come.
Oh.
You go, learn, come back and teach me. This is what happening in today's world of what we call it as the pampering the child.
True.
And father says, it's okay. Anyway, it's a knowledge. I want the knowledge.
Yeah.
First, I'll get it. That's the next step.
Yes.
Then the father goes to the king and then says, my son came here. You asked this question. I came here to know that. Can you please teach me?
Oh, wow.
Then the king says, I'm pleased to have you here, but you will have to spend some time here.
Okay.
Because I'm too busy with something.
Yeah.
It's like a testing.
Yes. Yes.
You spend some time here,
Yes.
then I'll teach you.
Yeah.
Then it takes a long time, almost a year or some time, and then the father stays there, and then he says, this is the Vidya, it's exclusively for Kshatriya, and today I'm giving it to Brahmana.
Okay.
You take it that. Then he explains. This is the storyline. You see, in that story, the context of whatever the Brahma Vidya or the Prana Vidya, whatever that goes on, that's a different. But an aspect of psychology or the relationship, how to deal with the parent, with the child, a king's responsibility, and then the attitude of a student and the
Absolutely.
child. See, this is how the story goes on. So
Wow.
every story, it looks by itself, it is sufficient, it is symbolic,
Yes.
and all these are Upanishad, takes us to the higher level of consciousness.
So they're aligned in such a way that in whichever context they're trying to explain the concepts at a deeper level, is the incidents or the story is also helping us to
Yes.
digest it more easily. Probably they
Absolutely.
wanted this knowledge to reach to a layman where, they can correlate it with whatever is happening. I think these things that you said, sir, is so much relevant to what we are experiencing even today.
Absolutely.
So it will be very easy for us to connect that with the character that we are playing in this lifetime, and then bring it down to the role that we are. Ultimately, it's about implementation. So
Yes. See, now you see that example in the story. We didn't talk anything about what the father taught the son.
yes,
Or the
exactly.
king taught the father.
Yes, true.
Still,
Yes.
there is so much of learning.
Learning that
What is
comes.
my role as a father?
Yeah.
How should I treat my child? What is the role as a king?
Yes.
How should I treat him?
So
If
nice.
somebody with
Yeah.
arrogance, how do you see? And somebody comes with the purpose of learning, how
Yeah.
do I see? So all these are taught. This is the experiential knowledge we are
Wow.
talking about. That is with the Upanishadic period.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, doctor. In olden days, I think in few villages the practice is still done, where whole night they would hear such stories and keep themselves awake on sacred occasions like Shivratri or any other special occasions, where people other villages all around would come and gather in like a spiritual community. They would just listen to such things, and then probably that would help them to reconcile their whole energy. I think we should reinitiate something like this, and fortunately through such podcast our viewers are also able to
Definitely, I'll
experience
just
this.
add, because
Yes.
what you said comes after the Upanishadic period. There is a Puranic period
Okay.
where the whole idea was to give in the story form.
Wow.
What we discussed till now is the higher level of the knowledge,
Right.
where the story is also of that higher level.
Yeah.
In the Purana, that brings to the form where you can immediately take it, like a drama or a movie.
True.
Or an action.
Yeah.
And then art. So there it is.
Yes.
But our Purana also has got its relevance, but it should be seen in the eyes of the Veda and Upanishads.
Yeah. Yes.
Then it makes a real sense
Wow.
of it. So we need to differentiate that
Yes.
aspect of
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, doctor. Well, viewers, I'm sure you've enjoyed the whole story doctor has narrated, and you've also now understood how do we really understand the deeper meaning of what these incidences or stories in Upanishads or Vedas are trying to tell us. Thank you so much for watching. Next time we'll meet you all again with another beautiful, useful insight on Vedic philosophy. Thank you. Namaste.